Well, people often ask about instructions for the Clean Air Mod kit, which we don't really have. There's a lot of tutorials online, so I never really bothered, but since I have this up to fix this one, this bike had already block-off plates, and so it spills oil a lot, and I don't really like that. So I just converted it back to the standard way, and since it didn't have, typically I'll leave this factory valve and just run the Clean Air Mod hose to that, but this bike was missing the factory valve, so in this instance I am using the provided parts that we include with this plastic tee right here, and then I have it hose clamped to the original inputs, and then this could have curved around up like that, but just to help prevent it getting pinched over or just have a freer path, I use the right angle elbow that we include, so it's just a less stress on it and less likely to pinch, because if it pinches it'll likely blow your valve cover gasket if it gets pinched off. But basically this is what it'll look like. You're just gonna run your engine breather, which typically comes up to the air box and goes into this port right here, and you put the cap on that port so that you're not getting air coming in without going through an air filter first, and then run the longer hose, the 2-foot hose, run it up the side, and it comes out over here and to the exhaust valve, the factory clean air valve. And now if you drop your bike over on its side or go too far back, the oil, any excess oil will just come up here, go into exhaust ports and blow out your exhaust to smoke. And also make sure and cap off, this is where the hose from here factory comes up and plugs into right here, so make sure and cap that one off too. And that's it. That's the Clean Air Mod. This gold stuff, if you're wondering, is reflective tape, and it helps keep it reflects heat, so keeps the intake air cooler. Something you could do too. For the Clean Air Mod on the 13 to 16, or just about any bike, it's basically this hose right here that is coming up from the engine crankcase. Normally plugs into the back of the air box, and I have it capped off here, and instead of plugging in there, it runs, I actually used the section of factory hose and used a coupler, so it has that kind of curve to it already, but you can use the whole piece that we supply if you want. And I actually just left the factory T valve there plugged in and everything, and so basically now if the bike is on its side too long or too far back with the oil overfilled, the oil will just travel up this hose, go through that valve, and go into the exhaust ports and just blow out the exhaust to smoke, instead of filling up the air box with oil and then dumping it into your number 1 cylinder and possibly hydrolocking your bike or bending a rod or something like that. Just make sure and cap off all the inputs to your air box so that you're not pulling in dust into the side of the air box that the filter is supposed to be filtering everything out on. And then this one here is actually the factory oil catch. There's like a little plastic cup with a hose off of this, so if you do get oil in the air box, it's supposed to drain into that cup. But that's like normal small amounts that would travel up the hose on its own, not with the bike on its side all the time like you would have with stunt riding.